just the feeling of like loading a film or a canister of film into your camera and like shutting that door shut and hearing the sound of the shutter just like moving it around and getting to that first exposure. It's like, I don't know, it's indescribable.
My name is Emmanuel Blackwell III. I'm the creator, owner, and all things operator of Swap Film. I grew up in San Francisco in the Mission District, on 25th Street to be exact, between Cap and Mission, in next to this little alley called Lilac. And I lived there for probably the first 16 years of my life. And through that kind of introduced me to a lot of different art forms, and kind of through all of those different and various art forms that I was immersed in eventually led me to photography. I have an uncle who was kind of like the family photographer, and he introduced me to the first analog camera that I would ever own, which was my great-grandfather's camera. And through that, I kind of just felt more compelled to carry on tradition. He just motivated me to like try new things, like how to load your own film, how to process your own film, like just more in-depth teaching. I wanted to kind of provide a service that was reminiscent of like what I was able to provide for myself, but for like the community at large, and just empower people and encourage them to like keep going.
I would say it was the beginning of the pandemic when I heard about Swap Film. Immediately I fell in love with the whole idea of it. I mean, I'm able to shoot film without having to worry about my bank account.
When I first met him, I was already shooting film photography, very new to it, and he had already had several years of experience ahead of me, so it was nice to hear or get like an expert opinion, if you will, from someone else, someone much older, someone who had been from San Francisco, you know, born and raised.
Mostly what I'm shooting is people. I used to shoot a lot of things because I didn't feel comfortable with people, but I started to realize like that my portraits were what, you know, was my strong suit. I'm so used to shooting color photography, and just the bright colors are like what catches your eye. And with black and white film, you take away that, you know, part of it. So you're worried about composition, and it's built me into like a much stronger photographer, being able to have film to practice with.
It's very engaging, you know? It's very welcoming. It makes you like want to shoot film, because it's like, there's no judgment behind it. If you mess up a roll of film, there's no one that's gonna be like, oh, you're messing up a lot of film, you know what I mean? Whatever, this, that, and the other. It's more of a learning experience. When I picked up a camera again for the first time, it was more to document the city, places that you could say don't exist anymore, places that I visited when I was a kid, places I visited as a teenager, as an adolescent, and I wanted a memory of it, something tangible. I want to document what's going on. I want to put out like an authentic representation of us.
I think that with Swap, I feel like he makes sure that there is something very profound that holds and grounds the business, which is like, you know, being human and like treating people the way that they deserve to be treated, or like creating actual one-on-one relationships with them versus being something that's very like robotic and like systematic, right?
So I lost my brother October 20th of 2021. He passed away in a tragic car accident at Candlestick Park. I was on my way to an art show to show some portraits that I had taken. When I found the news out, my mom called me, and I didn't want to believe it. And it was It was very tough. It's still very tough to this day. And yeah, it affected me incredibly, and it still does. I had to like stop everything for SWAP in that moment just to do all the things that needed to be done like on behalf of my brother, you know? You feel guilty when you lose people that you care about because you feel like you could have done more. Like, what more could I have done to avoid this? Because you don't want to come to terms with the reality of the situation. When you lose people and you're grieving, like a lot of it, you do have to like turn inward a lot, and there does have to be like the necessary introspective moments. But the community let me know that I wasn't alone.
How they came to support him has been in many, many ways, like physically, emotionally, companionship through art, through food, through music, you know, through financially. They've all have been able to support him.
I just want to keep being present. I'm in a happy space when I'm processing film and being present for the community. So like, I want to stay there.
I feel like because I have the membership, I'm always capable of taking photographs. Yeah, I kind of just documented my life kind of with photography. And then it wasn't until I met Emmanuel where I started taking it a little bit more an artistic approach to it.
Meeting Emmanuel, I met him in the neighborhood through our mutual friends, through art, through the community. And 8 years ago, he introduced to me a film camera, and I became like immediately in love with the work behind film, or like the relationship that you create with film, and also what you're able to capture that is very different than digital work, right?
I think that the beautiful thing about analog photography is that even though what you're seeing is what you're hoping you're going to get, that's not always the case. You have to be able to let go. You have to be able to just accept what is in front of you, and if not accept it, also make something beautiful out of what's given to you. What SWAP Film does is really bridge a community of other creatives to connect and to be able to bond over our love of photography. At the same time, just, you know, being able to share with each other what we love to do, and also providing, you know, opportunity for us to see other person's photography through like the social media sites.
I wouldn't be where I'm at without photography, and SWAP Film wouldn't be where it is without me. So I kind of had to like open myself up to like, if I'm gonna be providing this service, then people need to know who I am. And if I'm gonna be of service to the community, then the community should be the face of like the curated art, because I wouldn't be able to do it again, like without them.